Perfect.
How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Down podcast, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Today, we are back continuing our week 2 coverage before the Bears head to Lambeau Field on Sunday night to take on the Green Bay Packers with a second installment of 3 key matchups. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 3 keys to a Bears win in week 2. If the Bears want to pull off another upset, I'm going to be sharing you guys the positional matchups that I think they need to take advantage of if they want to come away with a win in week 2. Welcome back to the channel, though. Feels good to keep the coverage going. We've posted so much content on social media, here on the podcast, wherever you may be listening, as well as on our website, getting you guys ready for the Bears' week 2 matchup against the Green Bay Packers. If you haven't done so already, do us a favor, drop a like, subscribe, and follow. Share the podcast, leave a 5-star rating. We appreciate your guys' support greatly. Welcome back, though. It feels good to be back once again. I am your host, Chris Malpe, doing this on my own today. However, we will get through it. A big slate coming up on week 2 for sure. We've got Chargers at Chiefs tonight. I'm sure that is going to be a high-scoring affair, so should be interesting to see the result of that one. 2 of the premier young quarterbacks in the league going at it with Justin Fields. Justin Fields is hopefully a premier young quarterback in the league, but Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes facing off tonight in AFC West battle. A crazy end to week 1 with the Broncos, as we discussed earlier in the week. So a lot to look forward to in week 2, a lot of very good action, and another primetime game between the Bears and the Packers. So let's hop right into this 3 key matchups. Might be a little bit smaller of an episode today just because I don't have any co-hosts alongside me. However, we still have some very important points to get to. As you can see on your screen right now, if you're listening on YouTube, my number 1 key factor for the Bears to win this week is going to be getting the ball to Khalil Herbert or David Montgomery. I think these players are very important and have shown a lot of success against Green Bay in the past. And getting something going offensively is going to be important, whether it is on the ground or through the air. Mooney seems to be a little bit of a tough one this week. I'm a little bit worried about him. Obviously, him coming in as the wide receiver 1. He is going to be shadowed by Jair Alexander for the entirety of this game. However, taking a look at their 2 games in 2021 against the Packers, Mooney was targeted 13 times when these rivals faced up last season. He had 14 yards per catch. He also tallied up a score and 64 yards combined in both of these games. The Bears weren't able to get him implemented in the week 1 game against the 49ers whatsoever. I think trying to script him getting the ball a little bit more, especially in open space, if you can free him up at all, is going to be very important. It seems like Velus Jones Jr., the rookie wide receiver out of Tennessee, as of right now on Thursday afternoon, he was just did not participate in practice. So some guys, once again, in the wide receiver room, we saw Dante Pettis and Equinemius St. Brown step up last week, but it would be nice to get a solid share of targets to Mooney, someone who has scored against the Packers in the past, has experience playing against their secondary. It would be very nice if they could get him the ball in this one. Another big one is Khalil Herbert. He is coming off of a week where he had 9 carries for 45 yards, almost 5 yards per carry, as well as a touchdown against the 49ers. He's another player who I think had a ton of success against Green Bay in 2021. A lot of Bears fans want to see the team get David Montgomery going. It was a rough debut week for him for his 2022 season. However, I do like what the Bears are doing in terms of how they are sharing the carries in the backfield. I spoke about it earlier this week. I would like Chicago to shy away from the shotgun handoff scheme, get Kari Blasingame in there. We'll see if he plays this week as well. He's someone who's also been a little bit iffy on an injury, but I would love to see the Bears line up the quarterback potentially behind a fullback, potentially with a fullback behind him, as well as the running back, pick the point of attack and run downfield. That's something we saw Khalil Herbert have success doing last year against the Packers. Herbert rushed for 97 yards and a touchdown in the Bears' October meeting with the Packers in 2021. Also had a solid game when they met up in December. He averaged 5 yards per carry against Green Bay in his rookie season, and once again also had a touchdown. So we've seen David Montgomery have some success against Green Bay in 2020, Khalil Herbert in 2021. I'm pointing out Herbert just because of the recency in these stats. However, getting the run game going in this one is going to be a big factor. It's going to be tough going against a Green Bay defense that has guys like Kenny Clark, like Preston Smith, Devondre Campbell, Dean Lowry, Rashawn Gary, Quay Walker coming at you. However, if the Bears can implement any sort of run game, that would definitely be big in this one, because not only can they take time off the clock and take time out of Aaron Rodgers' hands, but getting a solid run game going can open up the bootleg and play action pass game for quarterback Justin Fields. Heading into my second matchup or factor, I guess you could say in this one, getting it to Aaron Rodgers, I think, is going to play a huge factor in this week 2 game. It was really interesting watching the Packers in week 1. Rodgers really couldn't get in sync with many of his wide receivers. And the Packers, I believe, only scored 7 points in this game, and Rodgers didn't get into the end zone on the stat sheet. He was sacked 4 times for a loss of 33 yards when you add them up. And getting to him is going to be huge this week, especially when you take into consideration the current offensive line situation going on in Green Bay. The left guard for the Packers, John Runyon, has been dealing with injury. It seems like David Bakhtiari, their all-pro left tackle, is going to miss this one. He hasn't practiced on Wednesday or Thursday. And Elton Jenkins also has been a limited participant throughout the entirety of the week. So it seems like it's likely that Green Bay is going to be down their number 1 tackle, also potentially their other tackle as well, on top of potentially a guard. So the Bears are going to have to get some exterior pressure in this one. We talked last week about how the interior pressure was important against Trey Lance, and we saw that come to fruition in the week 1 game. The Bears were able to bring down Lance a couple of times, but I'm going to highlight Robert Quinn in this one. In 9 career meetings with the Packers on multiple teams, the Dolphins, the Rams, as well as the Bears now, pass rusher Robert Quinn has forced 1 fumble. He's tallied up multiple tackles for a loss, and he has 1+ sack in 5 games against Green Bay in 9 career appearances. So with Green Bay potentially missing both of their starting tackles on Sunday night, I think Quinn's play is going to be very important. He recorded 2 sacks in the Bears December meeting against the Packers. I would absolutely love to see more of that. Guys like Dominique Robinson, Trevis Gipson, Justin Jones, Armon Watts stepping up as well would be huge in this one. Getting any pressure you can get on Aaron Rodgers is going to be important, because Rodgers isn't essentially one of the fastest quarterbacks in the league, but time and time again, we've seen this script so many times as Bears fans. He is someone who can extend the play. He is someone who can find his receivers, and while maybe he wasn't in perfect sync with his wide receivers in Minneapolis last week, that sort of stuff comes with time. So getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers, if the Bears can record a couple of sacks in this one, get their defense off the field, get the ball back into Justin Fields' hands, that is going to be incredibly important if the Bears want to secure a win here in week 2. Finally, before I close this one off, I want to talk a little bit about Justin Fields and his success in the run game against Green Bay in his rookie season. I think continuing to open the playbook for Fields is going to be essential in this one. And if the Bears want to have any success offensively, he is going to need to play a very good game and continue to use his legs like we saw him attempt to do in week 1. Taking a look at Fields' career stats in 2 starts against the Packers, it's an interesting situation because Fields obviously just was getting an opportunity when he played the Packers in October of 2021. And then in December, he was obviously coming off that rib injury. However, he has had 2 solid games against the Packers, a combined just under 400 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 72.8 passer rating against Green Bay. And then I want to get to this rushing stat here, 117 rushing yards and 7.8 yards per carry. I think it is incredibly important that the Bears continue to operate under having Fields as the bootleg quarterback, as someone who's using a lot of play action pass, get the RPO implemented. I think Getting Fields outside of the pocket, as we saw last week against the San Francisco 49ers, is a huge factor that played a big impact in the Bears coming back and beating the 49ers. Getting him outside of the pocket, letting Justin Fields do what he does best is going to be important in this one. Excuse me. And Green Bay is known for their speed on defense. I mean, their linebacker core is something that honestly scares me, with guys like Jerron Reed, Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary. And they have a bunch of beasts in the secondary as well. I mean, second-year cornerback out of Georgia, Eric Stokes, Darnell Savage, Adrian Amos, a name we all know, and then Jair Alexander, who just got paid and is one of the best cornerbacks in the league. It is not going to be easy going for Justin Fields on Sunday night. I would argue that the 49ers maybe have a little bit better of a pass rush than the Green Bay Packers. However, this Green Bay defense all around is much more talented than that of San Francisco, especially with the injuries that they're going through in their secondary right now. So we saw Fields have success when he was able to use his legs, when the playbook was opened up. But I would love to see the Bears try to develop a good run game in this one, use their speed, guys like Darnell Mooney in the secondary, and it would be so nice to see a big game out of Equanimeous St. Brown going against his former team. Bears center / offensive guard Lucas Patrick is going to be the honorary captain in this one. So to see Fields continue on some recent success against Green Bay, against a team that I'm not going to rule them out whatsoever. I think a lot of people like to overreact after week one, but a team that has maybe regressed a little bit since 2021, I think the Bears, if they can get Justin Fields moving and into a groove, will have a great chance to be competitive in this one. And one last thing before I close it off. A lot of people don't remember. I mean, obviously, when the Bears went to Green Bay last year, it was all about Jakeem Grant. Damiere Byrd had a long touchdown as well in that one. But the Bears were competitive when they went to Green Bay and played in primetime last year. So I really hope they can carry off of that success. It should be interesting to see what we see out of the Packers on both sides of the field. They're not facing Justin Jefferson defensively. I think they'll have a little bit better of a game plan, obviously, against Chicago. And then Aaron Rodgers. He's a bad man, so we'll see what he brings to the table, but I do think it will be a competitive game nonetheless. Thank you guys for tuning into this week's episode of 3 Key Matchups. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think the Bears need to take advantage of if they want to come away with a win in this week 2 game. Another upset would be absolutely huge heading into a week 3 game where the Bears host the Houston Texans. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for the constant support on the podcast, wherever you may be listening right now, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Do us a favor, drop a like, subscribe, follow, leave us a 5-star rating, share the podcast. We're trying to bring you guys the most comprehensive Bears coverage on the web throughout the entirety of the 2022 regular season. If you would like more content from us, head to the link down in the description and find our website, beardown.com. We're posting columns, articles, and blogs to get you guys ready for the week 2 matchup in Green Bay. If you would like to find the podcast on Instagram or Twitter, you can find it on both platforms at Bear Down for more content from us. And finally, you can find the links to my personal social media pages down in the description, as well as everyone on the rest of my team. It's another great way to interact with me and everyone on the Bear Down team following us on Instagram and Twitter. And you can find our thoughts on all things Bears, the entirety of the National Football League, as well as all of Chicago sports year-round. Week 2 is kicking into gear. Something about this NFL season really just seems to speed up these weeks. I guess there's a lot more anticipation for myself, as well as the 15 million, I believe, on average football fans that tune into Sunday broadcasts on average. So it should be a good Thursday night football game tonight, waiting all day until Sunday night. As said on those broadcasts is going to be tough. However, a great slate of games, as there is every week across the league. So it should be at least stress-free on Sunday during the day. A doubleheader on Monday Night Football, a lot to look forward to, and much more content coming throughout the week from us. Guys, it's been a pleasure to be your host. Once again, my name is Chris Malpe. More Week 2 Bears versus Packers coverage coming tomorrow, as well as all weekend. It is so much fun getting back into a groove and doing this consistently once again. But Bears fans, as always, do us a favor and stay safe and bear down. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.